Good evening and welcome to the Shaftsbury Special School Board meeting on the ventilation system. And we will start right off with citizens' comments and seeing.
I would like to say
Okay,
something.
go ahead.
Our regular meeting was canceled, and our purpose here is to serving the school and the public. And I see no reason why our meeting should have been canceled last week. I don't care if the meeting's gonna be 20 minutes long or 2 hours long, we still should have it. There was no reason to me, there was no reason to cancel the meeting. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
And if, I don't know where it came out that it wasn't, and for me to get the answer why it was canceled, that was a job and a half.
Okay. Well, I had asked at our, I don't know if it was MAU or SVSU committee after we passed all our budgets and did that, was there any reason to meet? Nobody seemed to think of that. I didn't think of the this ventilation system because it's been out there for a while. So I said, well, then we just won't have a meeting then. And I didn't set up an agenda with Mary Lee because she asked me. I said, well, we're not going to have a meeting. So that was me. So I made the call. And other than that, being the budgets that we had, and they were already done, so I didn't want to meet just for the thing to meet. But I get what you're saying.
As I said in the beginning, I don't care. We're here to represent the public and the school.
Yep.
And if we don't have that much to say, that's fine. But at least give everybody a chance to do it. That's what we're here for.
Yep. I agree. Anyone else? Okay. We'll get right into the ventilation project system. Update and discussion. Do you have anything, Jeff? I don't. I'll start it. I've come to the school. I will probably talk against this ventilation system as it stands right now for the simple reason there's better things that we can be doing out there. I have talked to the school nurse. I've asked around if there's any parents that have had any problems, any kids that have had any problems. Apparently not. As you can see tonight, there's not one parent here. I don't know what to tell you. I'm against the project only for the simple reason it's what it does to our tax rate at this point. And don't get me wrong, I want to do something in that old part. I've discussed it with Jeff. I've discussed it with Jay. We are going to do something, and we basically have to at this point for the simple reason. I just want to remind everybody why we're here and why we're at this point on a ventilation system. We've had 2 or 3 people in the community that were not happy with the decisions that were made on other issues. So they turned around, went behind the board's back. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I will. And called the state on us saying we were in violation of this and that and God knows what else. That's how we got to this point. Now, I have to say that Jeff Johnson, our principal, Jay Coonrad knew that we were tightening up the building and that there was going to be some air quality issues. They did that even way before this came to people calling the state. I just don't think it's fair for 2 or 3 individuals in the community to sit here and put the town and the taxpayers at risk because they didn't like decisions that were made on other issues. I think it's inexcusable and it's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. We need some time to look at this. I also went through the school buildings and looked at what they were doing in the rooms and all that stuff. Perfectly fine. Talked with some teachers, not all of them. Talked with them. There's really no issues they can do. They're doing everything that needs to be done for our kids. There are no kids at risk, to my knowledge, as of today. So I have done that. We're going to do something. I can't support the issue of the $185,000 because there are too many people out there. We've had, I'll just keep, I know probably I'm rambling here. We've had people at SU meetings, MAU meetings, almost in tears. They can't afford to pay their bills. So I want to make sure whatever we do, and we're going to start with this old part down here, the 56 built addition, and we'll do it and do it the right way. And there's other things that we can do, and that's what we should do for the taxpayers. Kids first, I get it, and I've always been kids first, but there are taxpayers out there paying the bills, and when they can't afford to fix their own homes and they got to keep putting things off, and we just sit here, well, we'll just go out for another bond or just throw money at I just can't do that. That's what I got to say. Dave?
Just because time's a
Sure.
concern for me
Yep,
anyway.
no, that's
I'm
fine.
sorry, I
No, go right ahead. You're
did
fine.
want to try and just get a sense of what we might be trying to accomplish tonight. Are you looking for the board to take action on either?
No, basically no, because we've already agreed on the budget. We've already put in a ballot article, so I can't change that.
That's-
I'm not
that's
going.
locked in.
I'm not going to speak
Yeah.
for it, but I think we were rushed into this because of reasons I just said, and I don't think it's fair. It's not fair to the taxpayers. It's not fair to us. There isn't one child in this school that's at risk. I've talked to enough people in through here and everything, so, and that's fine, and I'm glad. But whatever we do, I want to make sure it's efficient, it's at a cost we can afford. This, when they come out with the over $700,000, and no, I can't accept that. I won't accept that. I revert back to, and I've had this conversation with Jay and Jeff too, when they wanted to spend millions of dollars for this addition at this school. I looked at it, I said, what in hell or heck are they spending all? So I looked so I went up to Fisher Elementary, which was the same exact school. And they spent millions of dollars, and I seen what they did. They ended up with 6 extra rooms that were for storage, big rooms, bigger than what we have here. Bus drivers were using 2 of them for coffee room and their feed, TV and all that stuff. So I didn't want the Shaftsbury school to end up like that. It was, ridiculous. So, but anyway, we can get this thing done cheaper. I know we can. I'm not an engineer by no means, but I'm not stupid either. But that's
Where we are right now is we've got, the ballot article is there, it's gonna be
Right.
there.
Yeah, it is.
The, pending the outcome of that, the next board, I guess.
Yep.
Will
Yep.
be making decisions on what happens next, whether to spend any of that money, how to spend it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we do have, if that ballot article passes, we do have, I think there's going to be a couple of more quotes, if I should say quotes, or whatever they
Second
are.
opinions.
Thank you. Second opinions. We probably won't have those until after sometime in March. So,
But we've officially taken the step of asking.
right. So I'm curious to see what those are going to be. Haven't seen anything. I don't know. So that's where we're at right at this point.
You got anything? Okay, I'm going to go on board of being for this. I think if you say that there isn't one kid, but if is one kid or could be one kid, we certainly should take the proper procedures to take care of it. And we have looked at it. It's been talked about for about a year. They've talked about it from the time I came on. And the point of saying that you don't want to put on an addition to keep the kids healthy, to me, that is the most important thing going. If we wait, who knows what's going to happen? Nobody knows. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really know either. But we have had a couple of bids. We have had one bid, and the bond that we put out was not the bond, but the ballot that we put out was not for the total amount of that, because we think we can get below that. And I think that the public, if you're wanting to look out for the kids, which I think is the most important thing going, we cannot keep postponing it and putting it on. That's my opinion. And I think just passing that ballot and going from there is testament for getting the school in the best shape at the least amount of money available. And it doesn't just we have 185 doesn't mean that we have to spend 185. That just means that that's the max. And I know we do have some money available in a little stockpile that we could use to supplement if we need it, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think it'll come in under it. Hopefully.
You're talking about the reserves, and I would not want to touch any bit of that. 'Cause that's for your roofs and everything else that we're going to be having.
I understand that. But I think when you're talking about the health of the building, then you're also talking about the health of the kids.
Yeah. Holly? Jeff?
I mean, for me, it's, I see it as a one-time investment for the next 20 years. I mean, we did the roof, we've done the windows on the old wing, we put the ventilation system in, the old one lasted, 20 years. We're looking at 20 years of really a nice reprieve, from putting in something expensive on that end from major construction.
But let's just make it perfectly clear. That system hasn't been used in the last 20, 25 years.
So we had old drafty windows too.
Right.
And less
But
insulation on the roof.
my point is, I don't know if you were here when I first started. We're here at this position because of 2 or 3 people that are irritated. Okay?
Well,
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. This is why we're here, because they called the state. We have a custodian and we have a principal that was very well aware of what was going on, and we were going to handle that. But now that we are on a list, and we are on the list now, and I've already talked to the person at the health department, and we have a chance to do something else. We don't have to have something right away, as long as we're doing what we're doing is sufficient, and it is. And
I mean, for me, I see it as...
I know what you're saying.
We tightened up the building, the engineer should have said this could be a potential, which, I'm not an engineer, and that's kind of what got us in trouble. If we knew that as a potential when we tightened up the building, with the new windows, new roof, we'd have actually said, he said, you might have a carbon dioxide issue. I think we'd have addressed it then. He's saying, okay, well, what's the potential of this happening?
Yeah.
But we're blindsided because we came in and got tested, and now we have an issue. So, I mean, if you could have done it with the roof at the same time, but we didn't know the issue until afterwards.
And I think I'm feeling that as far as making a decision, it's premature to be having a conversation until we get a second opinion. Having a decision on what we do next. The board did, vote to approve the ballot article. I wasn't there. I would have supported the vote. So I'm, in the majority, I think there. But beyond that, I've got to run to the next.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks for
Dave.
stopping, Dave.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your information.
Yep. Holly or Jeff, anybody else?
I mean, for me, I think at least having it on, lets the public decide whether or not
Yeah,
to spend the money.
yeah.
If they approve it, which I hope they do, then, like I said, hopefully not coming back next year and asking for another $180,000 for another ventilation.
Well, we
don't
may
have
we may do a bond if that's the case. I'm not willing to put on 7-8 cents. What it does to this town is ridiculous. You got to understand, there's other people out there. Just because maybe some of us can afford the increases. And I love the sign up at the dump. Did everybody see the sign up at the dump? No new taxes? I got one thing to tell them. That's going to come back and bite them. Because everybody got to understand, when you get your tax bill, it's town and school. It isn't separated. And I can tell you, there's going to be an increase in taxes, big time. So that's what people don't realize, and I'm not saying, we should never do anything. I think this is kind of premature because of 2 or 3 people, and that irritates the hell out of me. And it shouldn't have happened to begin with, but it has, and we're here. So that's where we're at.
You're talking about as premature. I don't think that fixing a problem with the kid's health.
The kids aren't healthy. There's nobody.
That's what you say, but you don't know. I don't know, but there are levels of CO2 that are higher, which is not bad.
Yeah.
But the only thing it does is slow the kids down. You have to acknowledge that.
Well,
And
again,
if he can't acknowledge that, then that's said. If the CO2 levels are higher, the kids don't learn as well.
I get that. My
And
point
that's what
is,
we're here for with the school. Can I
Right.
finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So that when you said that the state involvement is what's pushing it it should not be. It should be us pushing it along, not the state involved, not the state pushing us. We're doing it for what we believe is right.
All set?
Yep.
We're okay. We're in this position because of 3 people that are total idiots, as far as I'm concerned. I can say this; it's on tape. What they've done to this town is inexcusable. That's the point I'm trying to make. There are no kids, to my knowledge, in this school, and I've talked, as if any of the rest of you come into the school and talk to the nurse or talk to any teachers or talk to
I'm
any.
not. Yeah.
That's my point. If you haven't, then you can't sit there and say what you just said.
I'm in the school and you hear the same thing. People complain of sore throats.
Yeah.
Kids are tired. I mean, this is all a
Yeah, I get
potential
that.
side effect. I'm not gonna say it is. I mean, it could be 20 other things. But it is one of the, when you read the list of the issues, like, these are some small problems.
If kids don't wash
know.
their hands and they sneeze all over everybody and
Well,
everything, it's
you
just
need
part
to
of it.
bring fresh air in
Yep.
and put fresh air out.
Absolutely.
Take the stale air out. I mean, it's what needs to be done. So that's something that
Okay.
for me, that's, I'm glad
get-
we're addressing it now. but
yeah.
It would have been nice if the engineer forewarned us.
Sure.
But, it's a domino effect, One thing happened,
I
another
get it.
thing, now we're here. But
Yeah. I haven't heard from Holly.
You've heard from me
Have
over
you?
the last 9 months about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Enough. There's 5 people, I have to agree with Ed. There's
Okay.
5 equal voting members on this board
Yeah.
that have not discussed and made a path. We have used, you're saying that there's no problem. Do the graphs show that? The levels are down now and they're
Mm-hmm.
staying down. There's no peaks. There's no,
It's not ideal. I've
Yeah.
said that a number of times. It's not
Yeah.
ideal. We're keeping it at a manageable levels right now, but it's not ideal
and
by any
to
means.
have the windows, I understand but the time to talk, we've had 9 months. And now we're here and we're gonna push it off and don't want to and
I think it would be important to get those second opinions and see what
Yep,
those
I
absolutely.
was
those
gonna
engineers.
ask Renee,
Yeah.
have we,
And I think those will give us some clear indication of which
Yeah.
direction we want to go.
Yeah, I think what people have to understand, even though we have that ballot out there, is that we don't necessarily have to push it right now. But if they pass it,
The money's there.
and the money is there to do it, and we are still gonna take our due time and take our due process and look at everything to do the right thing for the school and for the kids. And it should not be money against health. I'm sorry.
And I think it's important to notice that you guys are putting that money into the reserve fund, which doesn't necessarily have to be all used for the ventilation. If we don't use it all, we can use it for those other projects that Fran's talking
Yep.
about.
We
later
should
on down
have, the one thing I want to say to that is, we say we're going to put all that money in a reserve fund. I would rather put that in a separate fund.
It is in a separate fund. It
For-
will be.
Well, I just don't want to add it to the 250
the
that we have
ballot.
in
The
there.
ballot doesn't say put it on.
This has been the reserve fund, isn't it?
Does it? Okay.
Puts it in the reserve fund.
There, well, then we flag that. We can flag that 180 if it passes, and we can flag that for
Flag it for-
185 not to touch.
Yeah, just to
But
put it in
that's
for
going to be
that.
for
Ventilation.
The, ventilation system itself. Okay, that's
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement there.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I've been here 30 years, so I've seen other boards take monies out of the general fund or the reserve fund, and all of a sudden, oh, geez, we're missing $100,000. So, but anyway, that's all I got to say. Is there anything else?
Have you had any, you were gonna put something, have you got anything back?
I have a couple of proposals.
Do you have them with you?
Would then need to decide, yeah, which.
Great, could we see them?
We have them now. All right.
This is proposals to do a.
Second opinion.
Okay.
So one of the engineers already came to the site. That would be John F. Penny. The other proposal from WV Engineering does include a site visit, so we're not necessarily comparing apples to apples at this point. And I should also add that we had another engineer that came and met with Jeff and Jay last week from Friedman Fisher. And the two of us just haven't been able to connect. I want to reach out to him as well to see if they would be interested in providing us with a proposal as well, just so you have 3 options for a second opinion. So John Penny, I think he's proposing to do it for $2,500. WV is $4,500. For the most part, it's going to give us what we need. WV's might be a little bit more detailed as to after they come and do an analysis of the building and then give us their recommendations and put together a preliminary cost estimate. He had a few more follow-ups to that. But again, we can look at it, we can ask people to revamp their proposal, or we can also wait and see if, I can get another one from Friedman Fisher as well. So.
Was anybody from the board aware or with you when you did this?
Both of these engineers have actually been here and provided proposals to, I think WV did the boiler replacements 2008, I can't remember what he said. And John Penny said he's pretty sure he gave a proposal a number of years ago for ventilation, I think, as well. So they're both familiar with the building, these two are anyway.
Have they thrown any numbers to you or any thoughts?
I didn't meet with them. I don't know if they mentioned anything during their walkthroughs about potential, but that's what they would be doing.
With the,
Yeah.
so one has a scope of an idea of what needs to be done. I don't see that what he saw or.
No, he wrote during his walkthrough, we could see several areas in the building that need an upgrade. From some discussion I have had with Renee Gordon, I understand the concerns of indoor air quality and comfort. The classroom wing in the north has some upgrades in the building envelope. New windows, new exterior wall sections, insulation to tighten the building. Little infiltration that is available in previous provided fresh air needed for the occupants. This classroom wing in the south had unit ventilators with a relatively new and older multi-zone air handling unit that lacks control due to failed components. The gym cafeteria is served by the air handling unit, which appears to be in need of some upgrading. So he's just kind of, this is what he saw. Yeah, highlights. Just this is what I see when I walk through.
And we have one more coming, Renee?
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
trying to
All right.
reconnect and ask them to put a proposal together.
Now, do we have to obviously vote on one of these, depending after we get this other one? Okay, so that'll be at the next meeting then, that we do that, okay.
When John Penny walked through the building with me that night, he talked about the unit that the other wanted, proposed putting the big unit in the air handler room,
Oh,
the old boiler room.
yeah,
He said the cost to do something like that would be so much, only because putting one unit in the middle of the building, the amount of duct work,
yeah, that's,
all your money is in duct work. He suggested putting 2 roof mount units on the roof and splitting it half and half, and the cost would come down tremendous. And the air handler for the library, basically just gut it and update it with all new technology. Don't get rid of the unit. In the same way with the one in the gym, in the auditorium. We could just upgrade it to new technology, not even get rid of the unit. So, as far as getting rid of all the duct work that's down
Right,
here,
right,
we could
that's-
just use it.
right,
I mean, there'd be some new duct work added, but
right.
as far as ripping everything out, we could pretty much
Yeah,
use the
that's what I,
existing.
yeah,
So,
okay,
he thinks that 750,000 is way.
Oh,
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I figured, but,
Did-
okay.
And how about the enclosed room back here, with the one in here?
The
Take
one
care
right
of
here, yeah.
that.
That's what he's talking
And
about.
there's a room, and what, these over here, there's
Them
one
are all-
problematic.
Those are- new.
Those all have the new
One-
units.
Yeah.
There's,
Those aren't bad back there.
there is new technology that we can add to them to help
The more efficient.
more efficient, so we're gonna look into that too, so.
So the only other things that was the computer room and the 5th grade room.
And they can pick that up from this unit
Okay,
just by
okay,
upgrading it.
all right,
And is the ductwork already from the last one
It's right there.
still here?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
And that's the John Petty.
okay,
So I think just by getting ideas from these two people, it's, as Jay has said, our values that we had to start with were probably too high, and that's why we went down, lowered the value on our ballot item, because we didn't think it was gonna be that high, and I think we're correct at that.
John Penny asked me about our oil for the building. I told him we've gone from 3 loads a year down to 2. So he said you're saving
oh, yeah,
there, you
Yeah.
know.
definitely, I have been taking care of this building over the years, no question, okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jay.
Okay, anybody got anything else? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn,
I'll second it.
okay?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye, okay, perfect.